I tipped a cashier. Now my boyfriend is pissed at me. Throwaway. Earlier today, me, 35F, and my daughter, Charlie, 5F, went to Walmart together. While we were checking out, I decided to tip the lovely cashier. She was very sweet and helpful, so I wanted to tip her for providing good service. I gave her $5 and she seemed very happy. Background. I grew up with my mom, who was a single parent. She worked as a cashier for many years and had a lot of negative experiences. She was often used as a punching bag by customers who treated her like dirt. My mom told me that one customer came up to her, thanked her for her service and gave her a tip. My mom told me that she always looked back on that moment fondly. Ever since that experience, my mom went out of her way to tip cashiers, bus drivers, etc. I always looked up to my mom, who sadly passed away 8 years ago. Once I was making my own money, I started to tip cashiers as well. I've also started to pass on these small acts of kindness to my daughter. While we were at Walmart, Charlie found a quarter on the ground and gave it to the cashier as a tip. The issue. After Charlie and I got home, Charlie told my boyfriend, 38M, about her giving the cashier a tip. He looked really confused and didn't respond. After Charlie went into her room to play, my boyfriend asked me what Charlie meant. I told him about how I always tip cashiers and that Charlie was excited to give someone a tip for the first time. He looked upset and asked me why the hell I would waste money like that. I was a bit flustered. I told him the story about my mom and what she went through as a cashier. He told me that cashiers don't need tips because they already make an hourly wage. I told him that cashiers don't make much money and there's nothing wrong with showing someone that you appreciate their good service. He doubled down and said, "For God's sake, they're cashiers, not in the military." I was starting to get upset and told him cashiers still deserve to know that they're appreciated. He told me that teaching Charlie to give tips to cashiers is a bad idea. He said all it's gonna do is teach her that if she pulls the sympathy card, people will give her handouts. I told him that he was fucking nuts. We've been distant with each other all day and he's insisting on an apology. Oh, the moral quandary of finding that your partner views the service industry as less than human. First and foremost, you're amazing. Second, be careful tipping at some places because it could actually get people fired if they're not allowed to accept it and they don't know that. I think Walmart cashiers aren't allowed to accept tips if their policies haven't changed since I was offered a job there back in like 2015. Third, your boyfriend kind of a dick. I'm confused. What exactly does he want an apology for? For God's sake, they're cashiers, not in the military. I am going to take a wild swing and say you are dating a shitty conservative man. And then you are stunned when he is unempathetic to the poor? I'm not sure why anyone would consider kindness and generosity to be bad lessons to teach to a child. Really makes me wonder about his character, to be honest. If you're using your own money, then he doesn't get a say in how you use it. He also doesn't get a say in what values you want to pass on to your child. Tell him to hold his breath for an apology. He's probably rude to service employees. Don't worry, the military gets $770 billion in taxpayer tips a year. I'm presuming since you aren't married it's your money and hence none of his business what you do with it. Your boyfriend has a walnut for a brain, I think. Why would you want to be with someone who treats others that way? Hopefully he doesn't end up being Charlie's stepdad. Sounds like boyfriend is really insecure in his own masculinity and financial situation and projects that onto others. Your boyfriend is an asshole. I don't know what else to really tell you. I could especially tell by the sympathy card comment. Classic sentiment of those who value individualism, no matter the cost, more than the genuine well-being of others. You can't force your boyfriend to learn the basic concept of empathy. Your boyfriend sounds like he disrespects servers too. Yikes. Boyfriend needs a wake-up call in being a better person. It's your money he needs to butt out. I wonder if the cashier will get in trouble if the employer found out. https://online.wsj.com/public/resources/documents/business-121320006.pdf. One of my first jobs was as a cashier, and I also wasn't expecting any tips at all. There was one American lady, I'm from Europe, who I was always excited to have at my register so I could practice my English by talking with her. And she was the absolute sweetest. At Christmas she visited the store again and came to my register and handed me €20, and she thanked me for always being kind and wished me a Merry Christmas. This was more than 10 years ago, and to this day I still remembered her sweet gesture because I was so baffled by it. Little did she know that my parents couldn't afford Christmas presents back then, and it made my entire holidays. It's important for basic values to match in a relationship. You both should have a talk about it. Maybe he reacted that way for another reason, a shitty day or something in the past. But yeah, I believe that you both should be on the same page in the future. He cannot get angry at you for the way you give back to the community. You're not doing something unethical. They don't need tips because they make an hourly wage. Lol, an hourly wage that barely pays bills. He's the kind of person who feels entitled to be rude to service staff because they're less than in his eyes. Fucking Americans, lol. The important question you need to ask yourself is this the kind of person I want my daughter to have as an example of how to be? Only you can answer that question. I'm sure it's against Walmart's policy to tip the cashiers. Be careful, if a cashier is caught taking a tip they could get fired. God knows Walmart wouldn't want a cashier to have a moment of kindness. That being said, your BF has no right to tell you what to do with your money. You do not owe him an apology. You are teaching your daughter empathy for others, which is a good thing the world needs more of. He owes you an apology, not the other way around. You are doing the right thing by practicing kindness for your daughter to see and partake in. Your giving action was rooted in love and compassion. Your boyfriend's reaction is rooted in fear and greed. Dump him and find a good-hearted person with a high EQ that understands the equation. Love and compassion, fear and greed. Tipping is bad for everyone involved and should be stopped immediately.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.